Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Inflection. The students are expected to be able to first define what inflection is. The second, recognize morphosyntactic features of inflection. The third, know and understand inflectional categories. The fourth, morphology type. Know the inventory of inflectional morphology type. And the definition is, the first is, it is the process of adding an affix to a word, of changing its stem in other ways according to the rules of the grammar of a language. In other words, it involves the formation of grammatical forms of a single lexeme, present, past, singular, plural, masculine, feminine, and so on. The use of these grammatical forms is clearly determined by sentence structure. It does not change the core lexical meaning or the lexical category of the word to which applies, and then it is determined by syntax. It is the realization of morphosyntactic features or properties, namely tense, aspect, number, and case.
Realization of morphosyntactic features. The first one is exponents. There are four parts of exponents. The first one is simple exponents. One-to-one relationship between form and meaning as one morpheme realizes one morphosyntactic features. Like sees, the morpheme z is the exponent of the morphosyntactic feature plural. Sailed, the morpheme t is the exponent of past tense or past participle. The second one is cumulative exponents. It refers to the appearance of more than one morphosyntactic feature mapping onto a single form. It can be seen in the features of verbal inflection like person, number, tense, mood, or voice. In other words, it reflects the subject-object agreement. And the third is extended exponents. A single morphological feature is realized simultaneously on more than one form. And the last, or the fourth, is context-free and context-sensitive inflection. Context-free refers to a single directional mapping between a morphological feature and a particular phonological string. It can be seen in present participle or progressive ing, realized as in. And in context-sensitive inflection, the realization of a morphosyntactic feature varies. Phonological realizations of the feature are past. There are 5 features. The first one is upload or partial suppletion. For example, like ran, sat, won, drank. And second, suppletion or total suppletion. For example, like was, went. And third, zero suppletion. For example, like his, could. And the fourth is the. For example, like sent, lent. And the last or the fifth is the. For example, like help, shrugged, and wanted.
Realization of morphosyntactic features. 2. Inherent versus assignment. Inflection morphosyntactic properties, which are neither agreement properties nor governed properties, are said to be inherent. C.V. Anderson, 1985, A172. From a morphological perspective, inherent properties are of two types. First, an inherent property may be associated with some but not all words in a lexeme's paradigm. Second, a property may be invariably associated with the words in a lexeme paradigm. An example of assigned inflection in case: the use of different forms of noun or pronouns in order to show whether they are the subject or object of a clause or whether they are possessive. For example, I or me, who or whom, marry or marries. 3. Government versus concord. Government is more or less what it sounds like. One word dictates the form of another. For example, verbs and noun or preposition and nouns relationship. Concord or agreement occurs when one element in a sentence takes on the morphosynthetic features of another element. For example, he walks, we walk.
So, inflectional categories are divided into two ways, nominal category and verbal category. The nominal category is divided into 4 namely number, gender, case, and person. The first way is number. The way is in which difference between singular and plural are shown. Difference between singular and plural are shown. A grammatical distinction which determines whether nouns, verb, adjective language, and singular and plural. In English, it can be seen particularly in nouns and demonstrative. For example, externalized nouns, book, in singular form is book, but in plural form is books. Another example for demonstrative plural form, the number word, this, in singular form is this, and this interchange the meaning of the plural form more than one to in a more than two, which cause the plural qualifier are to mean more than 2, 3, or vocal number. The second way is gender. Since he and she, the grammatical difference between masculine and feminine words.
The third way is case, a grammatical category that shows the function of a noun or noun phrase in a sentence. The form of a noun or noun phrase changes to show different functions or cases. There are 6 forms of a noun or noun phrase, which is nominative, accusative, ergative, genitive, dative, and locative. The first form is nominative, the form of a noun or noun phrase which usually shows that the noun or noun phrase can function as the subject of a sentence. The second form is accusative, the form of a noun or noun phrase which usually shows that the noun or noun phrase function as the direct object of the verb in a sentence. The third form is ergative, a verb which can be used either transitively to focus on a person who performs an action, or intransitively to focus on the thing that affected by the action. The fourth form is genitive, the possessive form of a noun. The sixth form is dative, the noun or noun phrases which refer to person or animals affected by the state or action of verb is in the dative case. The sixth form is locative, the noun or noun phrase which refers to the location of the action of the verb in the locative case. The fourth way of nominal category is person. Universally, there are only 3 persons in all spoken language. Nouns are always third person. First and second person forms are always pronouns. The major difference among the languages lies on the first person plural.
Inflectional category. Number 2, verbal category. A. Tenses. Tenses is a category or morphologistic properties distinguishes finite verbs. Temporal reference. In Latin, for intense, verbs inflect for 3 tense: past, present, and future. The relationship between the form of the verb and the time of the actional state it describes. B. Aspect. Aspect is a category of morphologistic properties distinguishes the various senses in which an event can be situated at a particular time interval. A grammatical category which deals with how the event described by a verb is viewed, such as whether it is in progress, habitual, repeat, momentary, and so on. It may be indicated by prefixes, suffixes, or the change to the verb, or by auxiliary verbs. As in English, English has 2 aspects, progressive and perfect.
Okay, let's move to the part C of verbal category. So in the verbal category in part C is mode. According to Richard, mode is a set of contrasts which are often shown by the form of the verb and which express the speaker's or writer's attitude to what is said by the written. Mode is divided into 3 categories. There are indicative mode, imperative mode, and subjunctive mode. What is indicative mode? So for the simple definition is indicative mode is used to make factual statements or ask questions. And then what is imperative mode? So imperative mode is used to express a request or command. And then subjunctive mode is rarely used to show conflicting wishes, doubts, or the other things. So if you wanna see the other definition, you can see in the slide. And then the last part is voice. Voice is the ways in which a language expresses the relationship between a verb and the noun phrase which are associated with it. 2 sentences can differ in voice and have the same basic meaning.
Inventory of inflectional morphology types. 1. Affixation and stem affixation. 2. Apophony is ablaut and umlaut. 3. Root and pattern morphology. 4. Suppletion, full and partial suppletion. And the last one is 5. Reduplication.